Welcome to Coach Business, the podcast. I'm your host and coach, Caryn Gillen, and I'm really glad you're here today because I have something important to talk about. And I think this one's going to be helpful for those of you starting coaching practices, for those of you leaving jobs and building your business, and for those of you who are in business and you're constantly hearing all these things that you could do to make money, to get clients, etc. But you wonder, is it even smart for me to be in business? When do I know I should pull the plug? How do I know it's working? What should I be doing? All those thoughts that really at the heart of it for me take us away from serving clients, but come from a really good place. Because if we don't know where our next month's revenue is going to come from, it's hard to feel safe this month if we're the breadwinner or if we have a certain lifestyle we're trying to keep up or whatever it is. It's less important to me what your reasons are for needing to make money. It's more important to me that you know that it's possible for you and that you can, and that there are ways that we can do this that feel more calm in our bodies and feel more sustainable overall. So this episode, I'm headed for Thanksgiving tomorrow, and I just couldn't not record it. It came up on a coaching call today, and thank you to you listening. I'm sure you're listening. And I want to share it with everybody because as I was coaching, I was like, this is something I say all the time. And it's really not something I've said to you on the podcast. And I want you to know this is something that I coach people on behind closed doors. If you were my client, we would go through this. And that is this: you can create a sustainable, successful, lovely coaching practice, generating 2 new clients a month. And I don't say this enough. So we're going to talk about why something that sounds too little to work is actually what can be the thing that sustains you. So think about a practice, a coaching practice, where January, okay, let's say you have a 6-month offer. January, you get 2 clients. Okay, now you have 2. February, you get 2. Now you have 4. March, you get 2 more. Now you have 6. April, you get 2 more. Now you have 8. By the time you get to the 6th month, you have this nice rolling thing happening where 2 people will go away, but you'll add another 2. And then on the 8th month, 2 more people might go away and you'll add another 2. In the logical mind, you might think, well, 12 clients isn't enough. And maybe it's not. For some people, 12 clients at a time is full time, and that's plenty, and that's amazing and beautiful and good. But here's the thing that you don't remember. In a business where you're coaching the right client for you and you're doing a decent job at it, 50% of your people will renew to work with you again. So if I've got 12 clients by the end of June, and then half of them in the next 6 months are going to re-up with me, all of a sudden I'm overbooked. I don't have any more time. I don't want to coach 20 hours a week. That's too much for me. Or maybe you're someone who does, or maybe you have a model where you see people every other week and you can have 30 clients and you see 15 a week. I don't know what your business model is, but you can see how if I'm talking to the right people consistently and I'm bringing 2 new clients a month into my business, which feels slow, is not a huge multiple hits of dopamine every day. It's pretty like calm, right? And most of you who come to me because you like that calm energy. It's something that I bring. You like to come in and co-regulate with me about that, right? Well, this is how you can build your entire business. For those of you who are like, I want to run a beautiful practice where I get to be the coach and work high level one-on-one, have these long-term relationships with people, you're not going to get to have that many clients. And that is beautiful and okay. And when you get to the point where you're at 18 and there's no way you're going to coach anybody else, then you have new problems. Then it's like, well, what do I do with the people who come to my door? And you can get creative then. But when you are on your way to building that full practice, the only thing you're doing is asking yourself the question over and over and over again: how do I bring in 4 to 6 consult calls this month? And you figure that out for the month you're in. You do your best. You put out your guess. You're like, I think if I do this, this, and this, that's going to make it happen for me. You run your month. At the end, you're like, did it work? Yes. Did it not work? Okay. What did I learn? Put out your best guess for the next month. Repeat and keep going. So you're going to have this slow roll at the start that you're going to it's okay. It's going to feel like things are happening very slowly. And then all of a sudden, you're going to be fully booked and not have enough room for anybody else. And these are the problems we want, and they're very solvable and manageable. But the hardest thing for many of us is to come out of these high power jobs, these busy lives, these places where we are so capable and strong and doing all of the things all the time for all the people, making the world happen in our role. And then we come into these coaching practices because we wanted a quieter life. Potentially, we wanted things to be simpler. And our nervous systems and our brains and our bodies are like, I don't think I'm doing it right. I don't think it's working because we're not that busy, because it's not rocket science, because maybe it's not that hard, because maybe you're doing things that light you up and you actually don't ever feel like you're working. That can happen too. Because at the end of the day, running a one on one solo coaching practice is a very manageable and ease filled. I won't say it's easy. I think that would be disrespectful to all of us, but it is a very ease filled business. It doesn't have to have multiple funnels or Facebook ads, or it doesn't have to have a lot of the stuff that a lot of the people in the world want to sell you. It just needs you in it and willing to be relational with your market. So if you're in the space where you're like, I don't know, there's so much I could do. What should I do? I don't think I'm doing enough. I want you to just, for a second, drop your shoulders with me. Take a deep breath into your belly and ask yourself, what kind of business do I really want? What do I want it to feel like? And can we create that? Can we create that right now? Can we create it with ease of just answering those simple questions of what would bring in 4 to 6 consults? Because for most of us, when we're running relational businesses, our close rate on consults is 50% or higher. So I think shooting for 4 to 6 gives you a little buffer. Maybe you get 3 clients 1 month. Congratulations. It'll be great. And you go from there. And I want you to know that this is possible, that you can do this. But I also want to acknowledge that the world is very noisy and our inner world is very noisy. And your job is to do what you need to do to quiet that outer world noisiness and to quiet that inner world noisiness. These are 2 of your most important jobs. And then it's to show up every day that you want to work. And yeah, you should work a few days a week. We don't get to have 4 to 6 consults a month only working. Never. We have to show up, right? Put in the legwork. But it doesn't have to be 60 hours a week, friends. It probably doesn't even have to be 40. I have this strong belief that if you do 1 2 to 3 hour project a week, you really show up for it, you go after it, and you move the needle, that you can do some pretty good damage with that. You do your regular admin stuff, you show up and do your work, and then you do one solid project a week that connects you with more people, that gets you in front of new people. I don't care what it is. Reaching out, coffee chats with people, all any of the things. Pitching yourself to a podcast, whatever you want to do. Whoever you are, you'll know yourself and do that stuff. But I just wanted to remind us all that these businesses can work in these really simple and beautiful ways. You can have what you want. If what you want is a one-on-one coaching practice where you're coaching 15 to 20 people, 12 people a week, whatever it is, this is math we can do. And you're the person who can make it happen. If you want my support, I am here to help. I am in love with the fact that we get to have these businesses, that we get to do this work in the world in the way that we want to, right? Isn't it Dolly Parton who said something along the lines of figure out who you are and go and do that? That is exactly how I got here. And I want to help you do that exact same thing. Figure out what is the business that wants to happen and let's just go do that. Let's not fight it. Let's let it happen. All right. Thank you to my clients for the inspiration for today's podcast. Thank you to my family for letting me come up here and podcast whenever I want to. It's a part of what makes my life fun and interesting. I hope that you had a great Thanksgiving and I'm headed into a nice one this weekend. All right. Take good care of yourself. Take good care of that body that's hosting you. And remember that we can create what we want. Sometimes it's not what else is there to do. Sometimes it's what is there not to do. All right. Thank you for being here. I want to remind you that the way this podcast gets found and the way my work gets shared in the world is because you choose to share it. So if you wouldn't mind sharing this episode with two coaches who you think could really benefit from hearing this today, I would absolutely love that. That's exactly what this is for. I appreciate you being here. Don't forget, we have founders pricing available on the Comfortable in Business membership for coaches making their way from 0 to 5K. That is going on until the end of 2024 when the founders pricing closes. You do want to get in on that. It is 12 months of coaching with me for the price of 8. So let's do that. Hop on over. We'll have the link in the show notes. Thanks for being here. So appreciate you. Bring in the ease. Be who you are. Let's make business beautiful.